Okay, so this is an extremely valuable painting that we are framing. And we're going to show it to you. And if it is not right side up when we show it to you, we're not going to move it around to change it. And that is the right way to do it. Okay, I'll be right back. This is a painting from China. And we're going to show all the edges, so it's going to be float mounted. And it's going to be float mounted onto linen, which is the challenging part of this project. I'm going to wrap this up and then we will come back and we'll show you how we're going to handle the linen. This is a linen. It actually went to a cleaners to get pressed, John's Cleaners, and this is the best you can do with pressing this kind of linen. It's really tricky. There's a couple things you can do. You can glue it down. The problem is this is so thin that if you use the glue, it would come through. You could just take this and throw it in the dry mount press, but if you did that, all these wrinkles are going to crease up and you're going to get creases in where it's glued down. So what I've come up with, and let's hope this works, is these are strips of dry mount tissue. I didn't experiment. The iron puts everything down just fine. So once I have things figured out, I can iron it. But I can't just start ironing it now, because I could iron it, and then end up with a really weird crookedness and a bubble at the end somewhere. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take tape, and I'm going to tape it to the board as if it was stretched. So in other words, it's going to be pre-stretched. Remember, this is bigger than the board. It's going to be pre-stretched. So when I start ironing it, it's stretched tight. Almost all the wrinkles are gone. And then I should be able to iron it onto the dry mount tissue fairly easily. This is Benfang Buffer Mount, which is an acid-free dry mount tissue. It doesn't off gas, and it's only has dry mount tissue on the border. The painting comes to about here. So most of the painting will be sitting on ragboard. Okay, I'm gonna get this taped down, and when that's done, we'll show it to you, and wish me luck. Okay guys, I think this is gonna work, and if it doesn't work, I think the theory's correct. If it doesn't work, I had a problem with the dry mount tissue underneath. But basically, as you can see, I have pre-stretched this. It's taped all the way around. There are still a few wrinkles in the cloth. Those will go away when it gets mounted down. But now, as I iron it, it's not going to be wiggling all over the place and getting out of register or out of alignment. I think this is going to work, and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so the piece has not been put down with the through hinges yet, but here's the piece. And actually, this is the top. This is the board, the linen I just mounted, and I think it came out perfectly. So my next goal now is to mark the inside corners of the frame and trim this oversized board down so it fits right in the frame. And then the next step is to put this on with through hinges. So this is a mulberry paper we talked about, and what I didn't show you was, you don't want sharp edges on these because you don't want it imprinting through to the front. So I'm just fuzzing out these edges a little bit, just like this. And that's going to work just fine. Okay. Now, this goes through, and I tape it from behind. This one goes through. Now you'll notice that these slots are bigger than the tape, and the tape's now pulled really, really tight, and that's done on purpose things do expand and contract, and I don't want this jammed in here and wrinkling up. I want everything to have a little bit of room to move as the mat board will expand and contract with humidity changes. All right, show you more later. All right, the linen is put down beautifully. It came out great. Now I have to mount the piece down to the linen. And of course it has to be perfectly centered and all of that. So there's a slot here and a slot here. This wraps around behind and is taped from behind. That's mulberry paper. It's a strong Japanese paper, and there's going to be a little dab of wheat starch paste on that and on this, and actually 5 of them go down the row. And once that's on and is positioned, I put a weight on here and let it dry overnight. Now, with something like this, it's a fine line. Archivally, the best thing is mulberry paper, and the reason it's the best archivally is completely acid-free. It's great stuff. The wheat starch paste is completely reversible by a conservator, so a conservator could easily take this off the board in the future. The balancing act is, it's not wicked strong glue, and this tape is not extremely strong. That's why I have 5 of these, and I'm pretty sure, I did a few tests with this stuff, I'm pretty sure that these 5 with wheat starch paste on them will hold this piece in place as it hangs in the frame. Okay, we'll show you more later. Well, it's finally done. This beautiful painting from China, quite valuable. It was a lot of work working with this linen. It was very thin and very difficult to get mounted down onto the museum board and keep the weave basically straight. I think it came out great, and I can't wait for our client to see it.